Welcome to what we believe is the very first all-internet live stream debate. We have the Massachusetts Attorney General, Martha Coakley. Good morning. What can you do or say that will bring young voters back into the fold and bring them out on December 8th?
As much as my parents' generation were the greatest generation, I'm not sure your generation thinks about us that way. The economy is in a mess. You are all worried about how you're going to pay for health care. You are all worried about how you are going to pursue the American dream. And so you do have a vested interest in this race. That's why I think young voters will come out on December 8th.
Would you support reforming the private insurance industry so that more recent graduates can find affordable insurance?
I know from the work we've done here in Massachusetts that when you're graduating from college or when you're not on your parents' insurance anymore, what's the first thing that's going to go, right? Do I pay my rent? Do I go out with friends? What am I going to do? So one of the things we focused on was trying to get everybody insured. And yours is a crucial generation to work at. If we change the way we pay for health care, going for global payments instead of fee-for-services, we can both bring you in, provide the security, and frankly bring costs down for you.
Years from now, our generation will be responsible for paying off the $12 trillion worth of debt that has been rapidly accumulating. What will you do now in the Senate to make sure that those who have received federal bailout or stimulus money are being held accountable?
It seems unfair, doesn't it, when you're worried about getting jobs and getting health care, that you have to worry about a $12 trillion deficit. And it is unfair. And it's unfair that Wall Street went basically unself-regulating for too many years. Washington was asleep at the switch. Here in Massachusetts, we were the first Attorney General's office to see the kind of predatory lending that we're making loans to people because they could. We went to court. We got people to stay in their homes. We also went after Goldman Sachs, the first Attorney General's office, to hold someone accountable, and student loans we've gone after to make sure that they're not unfair. But we do need to get out of this recession also, and need to get people back to work. We need to get taxes up, and we'll start to chip away at that deficit. We can do it.
Lowering the voting age to 17 seems to be a new trend. Do you see this being passed in other Massachusetts cities?
I don't see immediately the movement to. Whether it's 17 or 18, though, what's most important to me is making sure that all young people in this country recognize both the privileges and the responsibilities of being in a democracy like this. It's important that you start getting involved at an early age in being participants in our democracy.
Should illegal aliens get in-state tuition?
I support the American Dream Act, which would allow for in-state tuition with the path to citizenship.
Can you name one thing President Bush did right?
I think he and Laura Bush did a good job of raising their twins.
Do you support the troop increase?
The answer is no. I don't support a troop increase. The case hasn't been made. I'm going to listen to the president tomorrow night, but I don't believe he will make the case that I can support. So my answer is no, and we should devise an exit strategy right now.
How can you make attending college more affordable?
One, we should increase funding for Pell Grants. It's really important for every student who wants to attend college to have the opportunity to do it without coming out of college with a incredibly crippling, the equivalent of the $12 trillion deficit. And student loans is another place that we obviously need work on. We worked here in Massachusetts, for instance, on going after unfair and deceptive student loans. Having said that, we also should widen the array of choices for students. Let's look, as we look forward to, students whose interest may be in going to a two-year college, a community college, or in a voc tech area. I think your generation has been very much channeled into certain areas. You have to go to school, you have to go to college. Maybe it's the over-parenting of our generation, but I think we need to get away from that and make sure you have choices.
Finding jobs after graduation is a huge concern for students. Would you support the multi-billion-dollar jobs bill that is reportedly being discussed in Congress?
I think that's a good first step, but I think you all know that you don't want just a job. You want the job that you want. You want to be able to work in public relations. You might want to go to law school. And so how do we do that? We don't bring back jobs in suitcases from Washington. Jobs come by and large from the private sector. We need to make sure that we retain the jobs in government that we've done with the first stimulus. I also agree we need to free up loans for small businesses. But how do we really create that link between what you want to do and how you are going to get a job in that field? It doesn't happen overnight, and it will happen best when this economy comes back, because then the private sector and the public sector will be able to provide for the kinds of not just jobs, but jobs that you want.
Come December 9th, 3 of you will return to life as you knew it before this campaign began. What is the single biggest priority for you on December 9th? Attorney General.
Shelley, I think we'll all sleep in a little bit.